He said, wow, thank you. You know, and it's not always easy to be in that place, but to remember to say, I love you.
And to remember to get into that space.
The other side is, if you want to help people, don't hide your wounds. Thornton Wilder said, because an angel refuses to heal a doctor, he says, in love service, only the wounded soldier can serve. Draw back. And the doctor ultimately realizes he is a good doctor, because people share things with him they wouldn't share with anybody else. See, when I shaved my head, people lined up in the hospital to talk to me. This is 1978, okay? Guys are wearing their hair down to here. He shaved his head. He's in trouble. So they lined up to talk to me because they knew I was wounded, I would understand. And I learned later from Jung, reading a story, that when a hero's head is shaved, he described it as a tonsure, T-O-N-S-U-R-E, like a monk. It's to uncover spirituality. If I'd been in therapy and had a good therapist, I would never have had to shave my head. All I knew is I have to shave my head. Drove our sons crazy because they were so embarrassed by me. But what I needed was to uncover, not skin, but
your heart,
the spirituality, and the love. You know, those are the things that impress me as I evolve and learn about myself. So I tell people, put a bandage over your eye, go to work, go to the supermarket. See, these are quotes, poked in the back in the supermarket. Lady had a bandage over her eye when I turned around. She said, you're the only person in Stop and Shop who hasn't asked me what happened. That impressed the hell out of me. Everybody in the store talked to her because she had a bandage. See, my crazy kid inside that keeps me alive, that's my therapist, my hypnotherapist. When she said, everybody has, you know, in the store, except you, I said, because I know what happened. I have an abusive spouse also. Then it was like, what? I said, look, I'm a doctor. It's a bandage. You know, I didn't get carried away by it. But what I used to say as a joke, I thought was a joke until my wife pointed out something to me one day. How are you today? You know, you're checking out of the store. I'm depressed. I've run out of my antidepressant and my doctor's away on vacation. And my wife said to me, honey, you think it's a joke. They don't. You are not listening to people. And when I started to pay attention, I realized she's right. 80% of the people tell me they're on antidepressants. Total strangers in line in the supermarket open their pocketbook, say, you want to try any of these? I mean it. I get taken to lockers, but we share our pain and therapy happens. And that impressed me, you know. Everybody's carrying that black spot, you know, that wound. The few people who aren't have been loved by parents. But when I get a response, you see, if you say that to somebody and they say, that's nice, they are denying everything. They haven't had a life-threatening illness. They haven't had a major loss, or they'd know to respond. So when somebody, I called up, American Express said, the woman said, how can I help you? I have two problems. I want to cancel a subscription and I'm depressed and out of my antidepressant. She said, I'll take them one at a time. So I said to her, I know you. She said, how can you know me? I said, you've either had a major loss, life-threatening illness, or loving parents, or you wouldn't respond that way to me. She said, you're right on all scores. And we had a great conversation about our lives. Had nothing to do with the magazine. That was the last thing we ever talked about. But that's the part I've learned, you see, that if they are wounded, they respond to you. And that's why I say that when you are wounded, people tell you things because, you know, if we show up like this, who the hell knows you got a problem? Right? But if you show that you have it, then you become the therapist because we share with each other and wonderful things happen. And I know everybody's wounded. So I act that way towards everybody because I know they've got their problems and their troubles. And try to be understanding and, and to bring some smiles to them. Because, as I say, the kid in me is also hypnotic working with other people. If somebody says to me, sign here, I write here. in the paper. And I've had lawyers thank me for getting a law office to smile, even though it screws up a whole contract, because, we put these stickers on, sign here, so I wrote here, here, here 8 times and mailed it back. And he said, I need your autograph. You see, but he said, I posted it on the wall because everybody's laughing. And that he was grateful for. So I always say, if you love someone, bring love or laughter into somebody's life, you don't have to cure their disease. You have done something for them that they're grateful for. And that's what I have found.
They learn to live.
Yeah, because I deal with if you're doing what I've been doing for over 30 years, a lot of people die. And, that I get to know and work with. But because they've lived, it's a totally different feeling. And even the other day, again, consciousness, somebody in our group who hasn't come back, she's a young woman, I know she's really ill. And I got up the other morning, and I was about to email, and then, like the voice said, call. And I called, and her husband said she died a few hours ago. And I was able to help him. But I know it was her. She was telling me, call my husband, he needs you.
He needs, yeah.
Yeah. And he was very grateful. And I said, it's not an accident I called. I want you to know that. She got me to call. That helped him too. To think that even though, as one kid said, I need God with skin on, but you still have that relationship.
Yeah.
All right.
Bernie, I thank you so much.
Okay.
I'm very grateful, and I know our viewers will be also. And, next year I may call you up and say,
all right,
Bernie, can I come back?
We'll see if I've learned something new. I'm sure I will by then.
I'm sure.
One clue for people, read the same books over and over again. This is what has helped me. I literally fold the corner of the page down and mark the page when I find some enlightening statement. Then I go back 2 years later and I read the book, and I realize the book is better because I've changed.
Yeah.
It happened accidentally because I had a long ride and I was listening to old tapes I had in the car, and I thought, these lectures are much better than they were a few years ago. And I said, no, dumbbell, you're hearing things you weren't aware of before.
Yeah.
And that's why I like that, Love Your Fate. I've read that 3 times. And a couple of weeks ago, though, it jumped off the page at me. Why? Because of things that are going on in my life.
Yeah.
So I'd say reread the same things. And as I say, if they're not getting better, you haven't changed. It's a good test.